I think if you look at most countries, when I say most, I mean America, a lot of the top track and field powerhouses in Europe, even Australia, they usually have a quota. When I say quota, if it's a personal coach, the the papers and everything is usually filed much before, and then the respective federations, for example, their IOAs or whatever they are, they kind of let them into the team because an accreditation is very necessary for a personal coach to be sitting there. Otherwise, why will somebody take a personal coach? Because outside of the stadium, you can go and beat anyone. And coaching is not always scientific or technical inputs coming in. Scientific, of course, what has been done has been done. What you got to perform there, you got to perform there. But there is an emotional side to coaching. And I think athletes look for that emotion that, if I'm not doing something well, and sometimes I'm not saying you may go out of form, but your rhythm is not happening in a high jump, for example, or in a throw, for example, you need a little bit of emotional lift at that time. And sometimes a coach telling them something extra, because so he understands under stress what he does, and when he's on a momentum, what he does. There is also this tug of war that happens, not necessarily in the Sarvesh case, tug of war between a national coach and a personal coach. There are a lot of ego issues that happen. National coaches don't like personal coaches. Personal coaches always feel that the national coaches kuch nahi karte hain, unko pata nahi hai kya ho raha hai. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's just a play that happens between both, and I think somewhere there is a middle ground that needs to be understood. For Sarvesh, I do believe that what he did there was unbelievable, brilliant to get a sixth position. But at the same time, I think if he had his own man there, and not to take away from Sri Shankar's father, because at the end of the day, he is a coach with a reputation, even though he may be in the long jump. But the links between a high jump and a personal coach in that particular event are very, very different. The equations are different. And here we are not playing around for somebody's going to be jumping 6 inches more or 7 inches more. These are fractions out there. And sometimes you just need that to be taken into a podium finish or a top 6 finish. I think that is exactly what most athletes look for when they ask for a personal coach, is somebody they can open up to, somebody who understands. Because if you are the personal coach of Sarvesh, you're seeing him day in, day out, doing 20, 40, 50, 60, 80 jumps a day or whatever weekly training regimes that they have. And it clicks. It does click with a lot of coaches that this is what is going wrong there. I think those areas need to be tweaked, and I think Sports Authority of India needs to understand, as I said before, the emotional link is so important between an athlete and a coach that the moment you break that, you may get a performance, but you will not get an optimum performance from an athlete. Break it